it's Anna, and today I'm going to be recommending you a bunch of books that are underrated and not talked about enough. So these are some books that I've read over the years and have given either like 4 or 5 stars, and books that I think that you guys would enjoy, but I don't see them talked about a lot. As a quick disclaimer, I know that not everyone will have the same taste as me, so you might read one of these and hate them, or you might read one of these and love them. Everyone has their own opinions. To give you like a sense of what I like, my favorite genres are contemporary romance, and I also like Tudor history novels. I don't know who I am. My name's Anna. I run the channel Booksire. I make videos about mostly books, but also about theater, and I just really love being here. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first book I want to recommend is Sophomore Year is Greek to Me by Meredith Zeitlin. This tells the story of Zona Lowell, who is an aspiring journalist who loves living in New York City because that's a dream that she has. She works with the school newspaper at her school, and she's having a really good time stepping towards her dreams. But her father announced as a professional journalist that he's going to be taking a 6-month abroad job in Athens, Greece, and she's going to have to move there with him and kind of abandon all the friends she has. And also she's going to have to meet members of her family that live in Greece that she's never had to meet before, as years ago her mom passed away and she's never met their family. It is a very fun novel in a lot of ways. It's a European travel novel. There's a lot of really quirky moments in this novel. And this is technically a sequel. I did not read the first book. I didn't know it was a sequel. It's following a different main character, but the main character from the first novel has like a minor appearance in this novel. So it's a very enjoyable novel, and I do think that you may enjoy it. Next novel I want to recommend is True Believer by Nicolas Sparks. This novel follows the story of Jeremy Marsh, who is a science journalist for Scientific American, and he is doing a study in a town of Bone Creek about these supernatural ghost phenomenon things, and while he's there he meets Lexi Darnell, who is the daughter of the town psychic. They're faced with a challenge as they meet each other, that Jeremy, if he wants to have this relationship with her and to have this possible chance, he's gonna have to give up the life that he knows as a journalist, and it's to live in this small town and to kind of abandon his job. And there is a sequel to it, so it is a romance duology, which I haven't seen a lot. I think it's worth the read. Romance is something that you're interested in. I will say I don't think it is very smutty. I don't remember there being any in there, so that is something to know. But I did read this like in middle school, so I think if it was too inappropriate that I wouldn't have read it. I really enjoyed this when I read it, and I think some of you may too. The next novel I want to talk about is Famous in Love by Rebecca Serle. It follows the story of Paige Townsend, dreams of being an actor, but she out of the blue books her big break by booking the lead role in kind of the movie adaptation of the next like big YA phenomenon. Think like she booked like the Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games, the Bella Swan in Twilight. One that loves acting not to be famous, but because I love acting. I really enjoyed this novel, and I thought it was really interesting. As you can see, Bella Thorne is on this cover of the book because it was adapted into a freeform series, which I have not seen. Really enjoyed this novel. It's been a while since I've read it, but if you like books about fame, if you like kind of cute YA novels, then I think that this one might be one you enjoy. Next novel is much more hard to read than the other ones, but I do think that if you're able to handle the subject matter, I think it would be a great one. It is The Tattooist of Austria by Heather Morris. This novel was written when Heather Morris interviewed a man that survived the Auschwitz concentration camps, and this is kind of a narrative story that she wrote based off that. So this is the chronicle of someone else's experience, as Heather Morris did interview this person and get their permission to write this book. It is one of the most heartbreaking stories I have ever read. It is a very difficult read, but I do think it's worth it. I read it at the beginning of 2019, and it still has stuck with me today. There's kind of a sequel spin-off novel to it that just came out called Silkia's Journey, that I have not picked up yet, but I really am looking forward to reading it. So this novel, I think if you can handle the obvious trigger warning for anti-Semitism and the concentration camps, then I think that this could be a very informative novel for a lot of people. If any of you have been around my channel since like the very beginning, you would know that I talked about Skybound by James Morris a lot. Water Tower is on my TBR for this month or next month. I am finally going to read the sequel, I promise. But I loved this first fantasy book so much. So this follows the story of a boy named Sam Cutter who lives in a world where the world is divided up into 3 kingdoms. One kind of on the surface where we live, one in the sky, and one underneath the water. The surface kingdom, which has become a lot more corrupt, and the king of the surface kingdom is almost like a dictatorship. And years ago, his father tried to escape to the Sky Kingdom so that he could give his family a better life. Sam ended up watching him get taken. He wants to go to the Sky Kingdom so that he can do what his father wasn't able to do and live a good life. But it turns out that he may have a bigger purpose in all of these things, and I'm not going to say anymore because I love this novel. I think this is a very fun novel that I don't think I've seen anyone else talk about it on booktube, but it is really great. If you like fantasy, then this is one that you should check out. The last novel that I want to talk about is another one that is very difficult to read. It is Small Great Things by Jodie Picoult. This is a novel about racial discrimination. This follows the story of Ruth Jefferson, who is a labor and delivery nurse who works very hard. She is one of the best that works in our hospital, and she's very well regarded. One day, a couple comes in and they're going to be delivering their baby, and Ruth is assigned to them, but they specifically say that because Ruth is black, that they don't want her near their child. But some complications arise with the child, and Ruth was found trying to help the child when no one else was. The novel is about the couple trying to sue Ruth for the things that happened with their child based on the basis of race and nothing else. This novel follows a lot of, like, a couple different perspectives. It follows Ruth, the lawyer, and I think one of the members of the couple. I could be wrong there. This novel was very difficult to read, but I do think it is a very worthwhile one. It is a pretty long novel, and there's a lot of words on every page, but it is very worth it, I think, if you are interested in it, and I would definitely recommend it. Those are all the books that I want to talk about today. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching you all, and I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye.